What's up to all my freelancers and creatives? This is Nathan with another episode of Freelance Jumpstart TV, and you need to go to a conference. The week I'm shooting this video, I'm actually headed to a conference. So I'm gonna get in a car, drive over 300 miles and head to a conference. What can be so good about driving 300 plus miles just to get to a conference? Well, I'm glad you asked. Whether you realize it or not, if you're really gonna just pursue a creative pursuit, it's important to be around certain people who wanna pursue the same things that you do. And one of the best ways to do that is by going to a conference, a meetup, some type of arena where people of the same mindset can gather and exchange ideas and get inspired. I used to have a different mentality when it came to conferences. My thought was, well, anything I can get at a conference, I can find online, or any type of communication that happens at a conference, I can find it online. I can tweet somebody, I can go into a Slack group, I can meet and talk with people. It's easy. That was my old mentality. I will admit, when you actually sit down and see people in person and talk to them in person, it sticks a lot better than going back and forth online. There's something that just feels more intentional and genuine about face-to-face interaction. Going to a conference will really grow you as an individual and also help to grow your business. And there's conferences out there of every kind. I'm headed to a conference for creative entrepreneurs, but there's also conferences for photographers and conferences for specifically real estate agents, and there's conferences for those who are freelancers, and there's conferences for, those who are specifically in the digital marketing space, social media, those who make videos. So there's conferences for every area. So really, there's no excuse. There's a conference out there that's for you. And my challenge to you is that you look for a conference and you actually go to one. Oftentimes when you're working in your business, you don't always get a chance to take a step back, look at what's happening and work on your business. And going to a conference and talking to other people and explaining what you do is a way to give an objective opinion from someone who is not attached to you, who may not know you as well, just to give you some good advice. And really, that advice helps to form a relationship that can last longer than the conference. I admit that there's still people I talk to today who I met at a conference and met in person, and that strengthened our connection, and we continue to talk, exchange business tips and business ideas. I may run something by them, but all that started by forming a relationship at a conference. As I mentioned, there's just something about that face-to-face interaction that just helps to spur. You actually know the person, you've seen the person, you maybe shared a meal with the person. So definitely going to conference can help strengthen and form relationships. Another thing to think about is when you're working on your business, a lot of times you're working in it, but not necessarily on it. So you need to just take some time to take a step back and think objectively about it and be around like-minded people who are trying to work and trying to hustle just like you. There's something about inspiring one another and seeing somebody's work ethic that helps you to say, I can do the same, or I need to do better. And you can only do that through comparing one another, through healthy comparisons and meeting people, at a conference. You're like-minded, you're trying to get to the same or similar goals. It's hard when you're just by yourself. You never really know or have that true accountability. So being around like-minded people can help make you a better business person. I will admit, I've been to conferences to where I have literally not necessarily learned anything from the speakers. Some of my friends say they think I know it all, but hey, I don't know it all. I'm still learning. It's not that I know it all, but I have seen and read this information online. So not every speaker is worth the trip to a conference. Maybe they will tell you something you already know. Not every speaker is actually good. Not every speaker is inspiring. But going to a conference and hearing speakers is just a small percentage about the value of what you can get from a conference. The main reason I continue to go to conferences is because you don't know that one word, that one sentence, that one example, that one website that somebody may give or tell you about that will literally transform your business, or at least transform your mentality. You may get this from a speaker that you hear during a keynote talk, but you may also hear valuable and transformative information from the conversations that you have in the audience. Maybe someone is there and they're asking questions that are similar struggles that you have in your business. So as their question gets answered, your question gets answered. So this is something that you really can't do on your own, and fostering community and fostering these types of conversations collaboratively amongst a group of your peers is the best way to do that. And conferences really encapsulate that. While you're at a conference, I recommend you do two things. You're gonna have a temptation to just go to the conference and mind your own business. Go to the sessions, eat lunch by yourself, and not really talk to other people. Don't do that. At a conference, you need to get your money's worth. There's a lot of money spent and invested on a conference. There's the conference fee. Then on top of that, you have traveling expenses, hotel, cab fare. Then you have to feed yourself and eat food or any other expenses that you may have. So it's not cheap. So it's important to get your money's worth. Don't go to a conference and stand in a corner. Make sure that you talk to other people and honestly force yourself to introduce yourself to others and make those connections that will really be life-changing for your business. But you won't know that until you take a chance and interact and speak to people. As you're introducing yourself to people, prepare ahead of time what you're gonna say and explain what it is that you do. I remember one time I went to a conference, I brought a friend along with me, and I remember telling him in the car, I said, hey, when we get to the conference, you might want to think about what you do and how you're going to explain who you are, because as we meet people, they're going to ask you. And of course, my friend didn't necessarily listen to me. So we're at the conference meeting new people, and I remember somebody asked him directly, so what do you do? He went on to say, well, I do some things online, I got a business, and I kind of do some things offline too, but I kind of do some things, Nathan, tell him what I do. And I had to interject and explain what it is the person actually did. So prior to getting to a conference, just get ready for this question as you're going around and talking to new people. Be able to explain what you do. Even me personally, I do quite a bit as it pertains to, working online, being a freelancer, and I have the capability to do many things, but I have to remember what is the direction I want to go forward with, and also what do I want someone to remember me as? If they have a question, or maybe they may be a potential client, I never know, but what do I want them to come to me for? So ahead of time, I need to decide that. I need to think about that. Even on the drive there or the flight there, I need to rehearse that. Just a short introduction, about a minute or so, just explaining what I do and who I am. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video. I greatly appreciate it. As I mentioned, I'm headed to a conference. I'm actually going to the Venture Pop conference in New Orleans, Louisiana. So they had their first conference last year. I'm going again because it was a great time, and I'm really just looking forward to it. The next video to come after this is actually going to be a summary of everything I learned. So I'm going to tell you everything I learned in the video. I'm also going to write an expansive review in the form of a blog post just to share what I learned and give some insight from what I benefited on going to a conference. So yes, you can learn from what I write and what I review, but the better thing is to take a step of faith, put yourself out there, and go to a conference as well surrounding the topic that you want to hear. As always, there are show notes for this particular episode, so you can go to freelancejumpstart.tv/49 because this is episode 49. And if you're listening on the podcast, definitely go to that link as well just to see more show notes and more information about what I was talking about on why every creative should go to a conference. Well, I will definitely catch you in the next one. See ya.